Hey y'all, welcome to Healthy with Heather Brown. If you don't know where to start with balancing being healthy and loving the life you already have, I got you, friend. And yes, of course, we're still going to enjoy some Chick-fil-A. I'm here to come alongside you and encourage you to fall more in love with your creator, your spouse, your kids, and your own health journey. We'll talk about how to let your good things grow until they become daily habits, with the occasional dad joke and point of view from my Yankee hubby, Eric. Don't stress. Let's hop on this Hot Mess Express together. So join me, Heather Brown, as we unpack what it looks like to live a life well loved. Oh my stars, you guys. How are we almost at the end of this year? I do not even understand where it went. If you feel equally overwhelmed and ecstatic about getting into the holidays with your kids, I feel the exact same way. Truth be told, there's a lot of pressure that comes with the holidays. Think about all the things we have to squeeze into the fall and winter. Games, practices, pumpkin patch visits, Halloween parties, Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, cute family photo shoots, Christmas parties, buying gifts. Everything that you cram into October, November, and December can leave you seriously feeling like you ran a marathon by the end. What if we found a way together to savor the season instead of cram it all hurriedly in? I don't want you to feel like it was all a blur, so I figured out what would help me in this season to stay on track and put it all in one comprehensive and pretty, if I do say so myself, planner. It's a way for you to make the most of the holiday season and includes memory verses to do with your kids, traditions, and recipes, plus doable health reminders for each busy month. If you need someone to reconfigure your heart and brain so the holidays will be life-giving instead of soul-sucking, this practical resource is your shortcut. Head to www.mylifewellloved.com/ebook to grab yours now and use code podcast to get 15% off. Welcome back to another episode of Healthy with Heather Brown. I'm so excited to have one of my very dear friends, Magen Davis, joining me today. She is one of my very favorite people. I have known her for a very long time. So I'm excited just from a personal standpoint to have her on this podcast with me, but also because you guys are going to learn so stinking much from her. She is a NASM certified personal trainer, head trainer at Burn Bootcamp Homewood, and she's a mama of 4 kids and married to her high school sweetheart, Daniel, who they actually both just went to Cabo with us. We had so much stinking fun. She's also a photographer, and in the last 2 years has fully transitioned from coaching and doing photography both part-time to now doing full-time coaching. Unlike some friendships where one friend is maybe more quiet and reserved, Magen and I do not struggle with that. We are both
Absolutely
loud and in charge, and we are like thrilled to get the party started. So welcome, Magen. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Heather, for having me on. I'm so thrilled to be here and to talk to you and with your My Life Well Love community. I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. So Magen, why don't you just tell a little bit about you, how we got to meet each other, and maybe just like a little bit of a story about like us both being Enneagram 3s, like how we kind of bounce each other in our friend group. I think that could be really cool for people to hear.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I'm glad to be on here with you, Heather. Heather and I go way back. Actually, she might be one of my oldest friends from college. Fun fact, we had a mutual friend getting married in college. I was actually already married. And we met on her bachelorette party. So at our bachelorette party, we met and kind of hit it off from there. We did, through the years, lose a little bit of contact. And then when Heather was starting her journey with all the My Life Will Love stuff, she reached out back to me to do some pictures. So we kind of reconnected there. And then I ended up reaching back out to you. Don't even know if you remember, to come to Burn, to try out Burn, because I was starting out at Burn. Yes.
So. Magen reached out to me to come try out Burn when she was first starting to train it in Hoover before she became head trainer at Homewood. And Magen, I remember you sending me this email and I was like, oh my gosh, I just had a baby. Like I cannot even entertain that type of workout. And then Here I am, like 650 classes later, obsessed. So I'm so glad you told me about it.
Absolutely. And I've enjoyed to see your journey too through Burn.
Yeah, it's been truly wild. So we'll talk a lot about Burn today, and Megan can kind of tell you the full scoop on that. But I actually think that you'll hear a lot about Burn throughout this whole season because I am just obsessed with it, obviously. But then I also, Megan, think it'll be really cool for them to hear about your journey because you mentioned you got married early. So how old were you when you got married?
Yeah. I was 20, engaged at 19, 20 when I got married, and Daniel was 23.
Babies.
Yes.
which Eric and I were babies too. We were 22 when we got married. But you guys beat us for sure. So then Megan, I think that what's so cool is like you have a health and weight loss journey and that started from like a ground zero. And then now you're this head trainer at Burn Homewood. Can you kind of share with us a little bit about your journey and your why? Like, I think that would be awesome because I know that there's so many women that are listening to this that have just had babies and they're like, I don't even know if I have it in me to make healthy choices.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're going to reach way back. Daniel and I actually, like you said in the intro, are high school sweethearts. So we started dating when I was 16 and when he was 19. By the time I turned 18 years old, graduating my senior year of high school, I had put on a solid 30 pounds of unexplained weight. We had no idea. Granted, I was not eating well. I wasn't making good choices, nor was I exercising, but it was unexplained and I was overly tired. So I ended up going to the doctor. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, which if you don't know, that's the one where it's easily to gain weight. It slows your metabolism down. You're exhausted. So I was fighting against something I didn't even know that I had. So I went to the doctor, got that under control, started on medication, and instantly saw a weight loss. At the same time, I was going into my freshman year of college. And Daniel actually at the time was a nutrition major, which he ended up switching. Long story, but
what? I did not know that.
I know. Is that not crazy? He was.
What?
He was.
Oh my gosh, yes, mind blown.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So he was willing to help me in a loving way figure out. I was never raised to eat healthy. We just weren't. We ate what mama cooked, whatever was put on the table. And so I didn't have a background for that. I didn't really work out. I did cheerleading, but I didn't really work out and had no concept of carbs and fats and proteins and calories and all of that. So anyways, it was I'm pinning this down because I can remember it so clearly. It was Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas. I could not button my size 16 pair of jeans. And I just remember sitting with Daniel, breaking down, crying, and thinking, I cannot continue on living my life. I mean, walking up the stairs was hard. I was not feeling well. And I knew that he was taking these classes. So he and I actually wrote a little pack and I signed it and he signed it and he helped me. That was kind of my initial oh, so I do need to watch what I eat. And here's how to eat well. So it started with my husband. That kind of sparked my interest. I ended up losing the 30 pounds plus an additional 20 pounds. So I lost 50 pounds in 8 months. Yes, working hard. I was working out. And then he also gave me nutrition to eat. Yeah, what to eat. So that was my first spark. But I do want to touch on this, my why, because you asked me that. Yeah. And it's still my why today. I have the most adoring family. If they're listening, I love them. But I remember looking around and seeing at the time, my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my cousins were overweight. And I wanted to break that mold like that. Wow. Just continuing every year to add on 5 to 10 pounds was not the journey I wanted. So that's when that spark started. That's my deeper why. That still is today my deeper why of why I get up every day, even if I'm tired, even when 3:30 hits. It's okay, I've got to do this. So that's how I got started, how I got motivated was having a personal weight loss journey of my own.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Megan, there's so much wisdom that you just shared that I'm trying to even figure out which part to start with.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I feel like the first question I want to, and I guess first I'll say, so Megan and I are both from Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised originally from here. And now we still live here. So to say that we are in the deep South, we really are. So when she says that it wasn't really an option to eat healthy, you just ate what was put in front of you. Can you kind of talk a little bit, because most of our listeners are from the South so far.
Yeah.
How do you think that women in the South can kind of still be very plugged in with their family and not almost have the food be a trigger point. Cause I know even my mom will still say to me, oh, are you just on another diet again? I'm like, no, mom, this is my lifestyle. I'm just eating healthy because I want to feel good. But have you found a good way to talk about that either with your family or encouragement for women that live in the South and are served those foods?
Absolutely. So couple pieces to that. My mom knows now, like, I'm probably not going to eat that piece of cake, and that's okay, even though she'll still ask me. And she's been on her own weight loss journey, which is a whole nother story. So she gets that. In the beginning, I can remember even like my grandmother saying, why are you eating that brownie? And that's hard. That's a hard thing of, I want to feel good. And they don't necessarily understand that because we put so much emotion into what we eat, and we emotionally eat. So, and we do as women, like I'm guilty of that too. So two things, I think your day-to-day consistency of, making sure you're watching what you're eating and you're eating good whole foods is one. Once a week, I mean, let yourself have that brownie if you want that brownie. If I go to my grandmother's house and she has brownies, depending on what I've had that week, I'm going to have the brownie, or I'm going to have half of it, or I'm going to have a bite of it. So one, that I'm not like disrespectful for not eating her food, which that's another Southern thing. She's prepared it. But two,
Totally.
like I can indulge too. It's the day in, day out grind, the discipline that you have to have those other 6 days of the week. So, I mean, that would be my, like, finding that balance and not just being at home going, I want a whole thing of brownies, so finding that balance when it's appropriate, as opposed to like, I'm just bored, I'm going to eat something.
So Megan, one of the things that I love, so Megan and some of the other trainers at Burn Homewood did a Q&A one day at their Burn location. And I thought some of the things that you guys talked about there was really interesting. And you just brought up a little bit about it. So one thing that I feel like is women, a lot of times that we almost look forward to, it's like you love being with your children. A lot of women, like your kids are part of your why. Absolutely. Of like, and that's part of my why. I want to be able to keep up with my boys, run with them on the soccer field, like jump on the trampoline and not be out of breath. That are a large part of my why. So when you think about, at the end of the day though, you're exhausted and you're like, I'm done with my kids. Like it's been a long day. Like mommy needs to rest. They need to rest. We need a break. And you're excited for that time when you put them down. A lot of women, what they do is they open the pantry, they pour their glass of wine. That's like their time. Can you talk a little bit about when you and Daniel put your kids to bed? How do you find time for you that's not either, an indulgent treat every night? What's your answers for those?
So I have a few tricks that I do myself. Number one, I love to make hot tea, which we learned from our friend Ashley George. She does that. If I had $1 for every time I heard a Burn girl, or just women in general, say, oh, I just look forward to that glass of wine every single night, I mean, I would be a rich lady, because that is a lot of what our society is turning to. And I'm not saying occasionally it's a bad thing. It's when we get in the daily, that's what I get to reward myself with. So I will look for other things like, I did my workout today. I ate great. So I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to watch a show with my husband. Kind of things that I do. I'll have a piece of dark chocolate. I mean, that's not going to, but one piece, and I've measured it out and I've fit it in. Like
Megan,
I've made
have you tried the Hue chocolates, HU?
No.
Oh my gosh, I failed you as a friend. They're so good.
Then you have to bring me some.
I will.
Okay.
I'll bring them to you as a thank you for being on the podcast. How about that?
Yeah. The other thing I do is I love a challenge. So I will, if I haven't drank all my water, I'll make sure before I go to bed, which I like to do way before bed, because our bladders after kids are non-existent. But I like to chug my water. Third thing that I do that helps me, two other things, that I do is I just go to bed. Like I know that's terrible, but I just go to bed, because that temptation to eat something is not there, or I brush my teeth. But really unwinding to me, I try to disassociate, I can eat all the junk food and like have a paradigm shift in my mind. I'm eating to fuel my body, not to get into all these emotions and just emotionally eat. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you totally did. I feel like that's really good insight. Yeah. And I would even say that some of our girlfriends, which I really appreciate about this, or even my neighbors, like we'll say, like, we're putting the kids to bed tonight. Let's go on a walk together. And so it's something that you can do that's keeping you busy. So you're not just sitting there bored out of boredom eating. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then Megan, I will talk about this some in another episode, but one thing that I really appreciate about Megan, and you just mentioned the alcohol, and like, if you had $1 for every time women tell you they look forward to that glass of wine, will you share a little bit with the audience about the encouragement you gave me about not drinking alcohol before our Cabo trip and the reasoning why? Because to me, I was like, oh my gosh, that is a game changer to know what you've taught me about alcohol and the effects and how long it has on your body.
Absolutely. So studies have shown, and you can do your own research on this, but I didn't know this either. And I think, let me back up and say 2020 was a hard year for everybody. And a lot of us turned to drinking and eating, but drinking because that was something that was convenient. We could do it at home. We didn't necessarily have to go out. So I think a lot of women, a lot of just people in general have shifted that direction. But there's a longer term effect. Your liver is being just destroyed over and over by the alcohol. More importantly, though, this is the part that I shared with Heather, and I think she was like, "Oh my goodness,
hold up!"
Yeah, per drink, it can take 1 to 3 days to burn, because alcohol is just a foreign substance. It doesn't fit into the carbs, the fats, the protein, your macros. It's just something else, and your body almost doesn't know what to do with it. It can take 1 to 3 days to burn off 1 to 3 drinks. So if you are having a drink every other night, you're never dipping into your own fat storage and burning that off. You're continually just burning the alcohol off. So a lot of you who are like, I can't lose weight, I can't do anything. That is my first question, is how much alcohol are you drinking, and how often? Because once a week, well, you've got time to metabolize that and then dip into your own fat source if you're eating properly too. So I think, like, when I found that out too, I was just like, whoa, okay, this is not something we can get by.
Yes. So, and Megan, tell them when you are having a drink, what is your favorite drink and what do we call it?
Okay. So I love, like, if we were to go have a girls' night and I was running late, I'd say that would even have to tell my friends what to order me. They would just
we got
know.
You
it's
now.
Called, I know. It's called a Mayday. Either 1 or 2 shots of vodka. I generally go with Tito's or Grey Goose with water, not soda water, not whatever other kind of water, just water, and then lemon in it, squeezed in it.
Yes. And if they don't have lemon, like they didn't at our resort, you can get lime.
Yeah, you can get lime. Yes, which I had a lot of those.
So Megan, what makes you choose that drink? Or if people are like, okay, cool, but I don't like vodka, what's another great, like, macro friendly, or like, I'm worried about it not being a great drink for me option for people?
Sure. I mean, I know a lot of ladies. I'm going to go with the clear liquors is going to be my first option. I think we get into a lot more calories when we go fruity. My husband loves fruity drinks, and I like the hard liquor. But I think just the clear hard liquor. I mean, even gin. I'm trying to think what else. Rum is an option. Those are better options. Obviously, hear me say
tequila.
I'm not saying tequila. Yes, hear me say I'm not going out saying do this every night. But if you're going to, these are better options for sure. Skinny margarita. I know some people do those also.
Yes, with the Topo Chico and the lime and like the very like fresh ingredients, not your big mixes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So I definitely think those are really great. You also mentioned having balance. So Megan, now what are some of like your best tips for starting and then maintaining a fitness journey? So, I mean, you were talking about when you were how old when you started to lose all that weight?
19.
And now Megan and I are the same age. She'll always remind me that I'm like 6 months older than her or something.
Yes, she is.
But anyway, so obviously
she's going to hit 40 before me.
Wah, wah. That just means you're going to make my party really fun, right?
That's right.
So anyway, what would you say, since you've been on this wellness journey now for so long, you shed, the 50 pounds, what is keeping you motivated, and kind of like, what are some of your best tips for women that are in the thick of that weight loss phase?
Absolutely. Couple of things. And I tell my clients this, you're going to fail And it's okay. Those failures are going to make you stronger every single day, because there were days when I blew it, but I knew tomorrow was a new day and I could start over. So reminding yourself it's okay to fail, pick your feet back up. We're all going to do it at some point. Pick your feet back up and get back on that road, that journey that you were on. If you haven't started yet, first step I'd say is start. Like, don't think about it, just do it. I mean, you've got to either join a gym, you've got to find a meal plan, an accountability partner, somebody that's going to be there for you to motivate you, because being on your own is a lot more challenging to do this than having that accountability. Like I said, I had my husband to start with. But that would be my motivation. Just start, just get on that journey. Continuing in it, it is not quick. It is not easy. If it was, everybody would be fit and thin and, in shape and beautiful and just all of those things. It is hard. It is the day-to-day grind when you have to get up, when you have to work out, when you're exhausted, when your kids are needy, when your kids are sick. It's work, but it's the work that you do every single day. It's that consistency. It's not going for 3 days and then partying for 5 or whatever it is. It's day in, day out, following a plan and sticking to it. So having that drive, having that determination, plus having someone alongside you is key to continuing on your journey.
Yeah. And Megan, actually, you said earlier, and I meant to touch on this. So she said, and sometimes I just go to bed, but y'all, she gets up. Tell them what time you set your alarm for.
Oh, yeah.
Burn camps.
Daniel, if he listens to this, he's gonna be like, I know. I set my first one at 3:30, but my one I actually get up to is 3:50 because I set like 5 alarms. But yeah, 3:50 a.m.
Snooze, and Daniel's like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
That's funny. So know that Megan going to bed when she puts her kids to bed is probably a little different than someone with my schedule, where I don't get up a lot of mornings until 7:45, 8, whatever the case may be. And then you also mentioned a lot about balance, accountability, discipline. I actually think, Megan, it could be really cool for you to share a little bit about how you feel like working out even correlates to your spiritual journey, not only with the accountability that you get from even like the gym and your friends, but you have to be so disciplined in your spiritual journey as well. And I have loved walking that road with you since 2020, when we became like really closer friends again. And I'd love for you to kind of share some of that discipline and how you see it play out in both arenas of your like life and health.
Absolutely. If we are not daily in the word or in prayer or in a community of believers, we're more likely to fall into complacency, into sin, because no one's holding you accountable. So same thing applies for working out. Yeah, your drive might last so long, but when you don't have a community around you to support you when you do fall, not if you fall, but when you do fall, spiritually too, when you do fall, I mean, that's when your support group comes in and lifts you up, and is your arm or the leg just holding you there in that season, that trial you might be going through. So I see it play out very similar, like in your spiritual walk and also your fitness journey too.
Yeah. And Megan, one thing that I feel like is so unique and cool about you and our friend group is that not only do you guys push me spiritually, but you also push me, emotionally, physically, and work. Like Megan is truly one, and this is kind of comes with our personality types, where she would like love for me to give her feedback if I'm like, happened in this camp and I didn't like it because it was bothering my hips, and and so she's like, thank you for telling me that, because now I can think about other women with their hips and how they might want to work on this slightly different, or how to re-engage their core or whatever. For instance, with today's podcast, Megan was like, Heather, I feel like these few things might be a little bit clearer. And so I think that one thing that's really cool about having deep friendships and deep accountability in both your workout lane and also your spiritual lane and your work lane is that you're only growing and making each other better. And sometimes those hard truths are actually the sign that somebody like loves you the deepest. And so I just want to say to you, thank you so much for being a great accountability force for me. But I know that one thing that you have said often to us is, I've just always prayed for and wanted a girlfriend group like this. And I talk to women every day on Instagram that are like, I just want a friend group like that. Like, what does that look like? What would you kind of tell women in the waiting and advise them on how to even find a good group of friends.
Yeah. So I am 36. Heather never finished how old we are. We're almost 37.
I try to not talk about it. It's okay, Megan.
Okay, got it.
Once I'm over 35, I'm like,
we're still 21 in our brains.
Exactly.
So I'm 36. I found my friend group, my true, like, share our lives, our mess with each other day in and day out when I was 34. And yes, I've had friends along the way, but this is something special and something different. And who knows, you might not find something exactly like this, but if you're in that waiting, in that season where you almost feel lost, cling to the Lord, cling to his word for sure, but pray for that friend group. And don't be afraid to be vulnerable, to be messy, and to be real with people, because that's what the truest friends that I have are the ones who have said, here is my heart, here is my mess, here is my life, and I want you to be a part of it. And they didn't say, whoa, they lovingly put their arms around me and just said, we got you. We're in this together. We're walking through this with you. So if you're not there yet, continue to pray that God, even if it's one other person, would bring that person to you. Yes. Just know that there are, like, real friendships, true friendships out there. Again, it's a matter of you being vulnerable and you sharing your heart with that person.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say enough how much, Megan, your friendship means to me, and your accountability and all those things. And I would even love for, this is kind of random. I'm like, I hope you don't mind. I'm about to totally put you on the spot, and you can say you don't want to do it and I'll edit it out afterwards. But will you say even like a 10 or 20-second prayer for women looking for a community? I think that could be really cool.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Thank you.
Yes, of course I will. Why wouldn't I?
Great.
All right. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you and praise you for the life, the breath that you've given us even now, God. We do not take that for granted, Lord. I thank you for friendships. Lord, I pray right now, so many women who are listening to this who feel lonely and afraid to open up about their life, their heart, their mess. God, would you number one, send your spirit, Lord, to give them peace, God. But number two, would you, if it be your will, send someone, a person, 5 people, Lord, into their life to encourage them and to have those true friendships with, Lord. We thank you. I thank you for Heather, for this time we get to spend just talking about life, the life that you've given us. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, friend. That was amazing.
Absolutely.
Will you tell people a little bit about, before you go, where they can find you on, social media, all the places if they ever come to Birmingham, where they can come work out with you, and even just tell a little bit about Burn Homewood and what kind of like the heartbeat of Burn is?
Absolutely. All right. So on social media, I don't know if you'll have this written anywhere, Heather, but my handle is just Magen H. Davis. But you have to spell Megan, right? It's Magen H.
I'll put it in the shoot note.
Okay.
Down at the bottom. Don't you worry. Show notes.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So Homewood started about, and it's Birmingham. It's like Hoover is to Birmingham at Homewood. We started a little over a year and a half ago. And I was a support trainer at the location that Heather goes to in Hoover. And I was asked to step into the head trainer role. And so this is my passion, to empower women wherever they are. And this has allowed me to do that, to encourage, to empower, to see, not to raise myself up, but to look at other women and show that they can, knowing that they can, and pushing them past their comfort zone, their limits, to achieve higher goals. But yeah, so Burn Homewood, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook. I don't know what else to say.
No, that's great. And you
okay.
No, that's perfect. So it's at, and I'll put this also in the show notes. It's at, isn't it Burn Homewood AL is their Instagram handle?
Yes.
And then if you want to go to a Burn Bootcamp and try it out, they get a free 7-week or 7-day trial, right?
Right. So Burn has, I'm going to get this wrong, but they have over 400 locations. So it is a universal membership if you decide to join with us. But you can walk in 7 free days, try us out. We're closed on Sundays, but we're open Monday through Saturday. We have in Homewood, we have 10 camps Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday, we have 4 camp options. But you can call up there. You can just show up and start your free trial. Try us out.
Yes. And it's a boot camp style workout. So each day of the week, you're working a different part of your body. So like today we had metabolic conditioning. We'll have a leg day every week. I'm like, help me remember the rest of them. There's athletic conditioning.
Arms. There's cardio. Yeah. Yeah. And I really want to stress the hardest step is showing up, just coming, because you tear yourself, you beat yourself up in your mind. Like, I can't do this. All the women in there are going to be super fit. They're going to all know each other, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what's so great about Burn. Every shape, every size, every ethnicity, every age. I mean, we are young to old. Just show up. That's the hardest step. Once you get in those doors, we'll pair you with somebody. We'll make sure you feel comfortable, you know what you're doing, and then we'll let you sweat. We'll get you sweating, and then we'll high five you and ask you to come back the next day.
Absolutely. Obviously, Burn's a great workout. It has changed my body composition. They have focus meetings where they help hold you accountable. And they also offer free childcare, which is actually what got me into Burn's doors.
Yes.
Because I was like, I mean, I can go teach a Pure Barre class and then I don't have time to take one myself. So because they have free childcare and I'm able to go in and do that, that's kind of what has made Burn make the most sense for this stage in my life. And I adore it. So if you've never tried it, I highly encourage you to check it out. Megan is a bomb trainer. She will push you to your limit.
Are sweet.
And then high five you and laugh while you're like peeing yourself on double unders, but it's fine.
Absolutely.
So anyway, all that to say, Megan, I'm going to ask you one more question, and I ask it on every episode with a guest. What is your, and I'm like, I forgot to write it down, so I might butcher it a little bit, but what is your favorite like health hack or health product or anything healthy in your life that you're just loving right now? It could be a podcast, whatever it is.
Oh, gosh, I've got a lot of health in my life.
I know you do, girl.
So my favorite thing right now, and I almost want to say it, but my favorite, as far as we're talking food wise, Burn just came out, and I don't know if you've tried them yet, Heather, with protein bars, and they're easy and they're convenient for the mom on the go. It has lots of protein in it. The carbs and fat ratio are not really bad, but there's a cookies and cream one, which is bomb, absolutely bomb. So I'm digging one of those every day as a little treat of my own, but also getting that healthy, good protein in to help build muscle.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I have not tried them yet, so I'll definitely have to try them, and I'm excited about it. Yes. Okay. Well, Megan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure I'll see you at Burn later this week. It'll be great.
Yes.
Okay. Love you, friend. And I'll talk to you soon. And thank you guys again so much for joining us today. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Healthy with Heather Brown. I'd love to connect with you over there. And if you go to Burn, please tag me so I can see it, and tag Megan at Megan H. Davis. And we'll see you next time. Thanks again. If y'all think I'm a little crazy, just wait till my favorite guest joins me in the marriage corner. It's my hubby, Eric. Okay, Eric, one of our favorite people, one of my BFFs, was on today's episode. It was Magen Davis. Whoop, whoop.
Love me some Megan.
I know. She's a good time. She's very fun. We love Megan and Daniel. In fact, we had this is so random. We had like a magic night with them one night with some entertainer from New York. What was that guy's name? Do you remember?
Can't remember his name, but that was very unique. The way they did the magic show. It was during COVID, so there's multiple people on basically like a Zoom call magic show. Usually not a big magic fan myself.
Same.
But I was even impressed with some of the We'll have to figure that out and maybe link it in the description or something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely we'll link his show in the show notes because it was a really cool gift. I think that I gave it to you for Christmas, and then we invited the Davises over to come watch it with us. So it was so fun. We of course had a blast with that. But one thing that Megan and I have in common that I kind of want to talk with Eric a little bit about today is that we can both be very loud, as discussed earlier. We know how to have a good time. We are usually the first people to get on the dance floor. We don't mind starting the party. So Eric has told me a few times that he may struggle a little bit with some secondhand embarrassment. So can you tell everybody what is secondhand embarrassment, Eric, and shed some light on how we do that for you?
So yeah. I am a big secondhand embarrassment person. It's probably one of my least favorite traits about myself. It doesn't take much for me to observe somebody else doing something and then projecting that insecurity onto myself and then also being embarrassed. So that's basically what secondhand embarrassment is.
Yes. And I can give you one small specific example where we were at, I think one of our friends invited us to their country club. And of course, we were having a really great time and, enjoying dinner. And as most of you know, I have a very loud laugh. So Eric's dad has this phrase that where whoever you are or whatever your most prominent quality is that what it is?
Your personality.
Your most prominent part of your personality gets amplified when you have had an alcoholic beverage, essentially, right?
Yeah, basically when you've been drinking, your true self comes out. So if you're an angry person by nature and you have a few drinks, you might be more angry when you drink. If you're a talkative person by nature and you have a few drinks, you're going to talk more.
True.
If you are, how do I put this, into the other sex, you're going to be even more into the other sex, as far as you know what I mean, I
think I'm tracking. I'm not sure. But basically
if you get turned on before, you're going to get turned on even more if you've had a few drinks.
Okay.
I wanted to use some other terms, but I don't want to get the explicit,
marker on this podcast.
Exactly.
Well, you said same sex, and I was like, where is he going with this?
All right. That was not correct. But anyways.
I am dying. That is so
no
funny.
Judgment on this podcast, but
right. So anyway, Megan and I tend to get loud in general. I have the loudest laugh in the place anywhere I go. And so if I have a glass of wine at dinner, that laugh gets pretty loud, pretty ratcheted up. And Eric will tend to be like, hey, babe, you might want to take it down a notch. I don't think you realize how loud you're laughing. The whole restaurant is staring at us. Can we not?
That is true. That's one of my favorite characteristics about you and Megan. Yes, things tend to exponentially get louder when you guys are together, which is fun, but sometimes leads to some secondhand embarrassment type situations. I don't know. I think I had to tell you and Megan a couple times to lock it up. I think Daniel was nodding his head in agreement, Megan's husband as well, too. But, something like, you girls need to lock it up right now.
That's right. That's right.
Like that, which usually doesn't work out. It's like telling a girl to relax.
Which we've also said doesn't work that well either. So anyway, all that to say, secondhand embarrassment for sure, a real deal. So Eric, did you bring me any fun questions to talk about on this episode? I love it when you do that.
So I did, and it kind of goes along with the secondhand embarrassment. So I wanted to ask you about guilty pleasure songs.
Okay.
And I have different levels of embarrassment and how I want you to basically rank your guilty pleasure songs. So the least level of embarrassment is the secondhand embarrassment like we just talked about. So that's level 1, that's secondhand embarrassment.
Sure.
The second level is kind of a little bit what we talked about before, but had a few too many drinks embarrassment. So it's that type of embarrassment. Had a couple drinks, may have said a few things that, you wish you maybe could have taken back. A lot of times, the next morning you're like, what did I say? Did this come out right? Which I think you struggle with more than me.
I definitely do. I start to second guess.
I'm just like, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Because we all know, one of the things that I feel like other than getting louder and laughing more and talking more is that I'm very honest. So I probably get even more honest after I've had that glass of wine. I'm like,
true.
Oh shoot, did I get too honest last night?
I love the second level of embarrassment when it comes to you that had a few too many drinks embarrassment for you.
Thanks, great.
So, I love that one. And finally, the third level is that deep down embarrassment that you don't want to tell anyone about. So it's just like, it's in your gut, and you only maybe tell your really, really good friends. But we're going to, kind of push that rule aside and
this episode.
Go deep down and into your most guilty pleasure song.
Okay, well, Eric, this is really hard for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, all of our listeners are probably totally going to be judging me. I feel like this is hard for me as a girl in the Bible Belt. You're probably like, but...
So we're starting with secondhand embarrassment, the easiest.
Yes, the easiest one.
Yeah, the lowest level of embarrassment.
Okay, I would say it's probably go shouty. It's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday.
I didn't know we were going to be singing these songs.
Oh, don't you think that's fun? Yes? In a club, 50 Cent?
I'm not singing my songs. Maybe if you're lucky, if I had a few drinks, maybe I would sing a few.
Dang it. Next time I'm getting Eric a glass of...
I am drinking Lit AF right now, a little pre-workout.
Pre-workout, guys. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Eric, your answer?
What's the actual name of that song?
I think it's In the Club.
Oh, yeah. 50 Cent. In the Club. Yeah. That's right, yeah.
It's not The Club. The Club.
Yeah.
Thank you.
D-A
Get it
club.
right. Yes.
The Club. Of course. So my turn, secondhand embarrassment.
Yes.
So we're definitely going in two different directions here. But I was kind of thinking about secondhand embarrassment. What are times when you have secondhand embarrassment, or what are opportunities to really have secondhand embarrassment? And what I immediately thought of was karaoke. So you're at a karaoke bar.
Yeah.
And somebody gets up there. They've had a few drinks. And they think they can sing this song, but it never comes out well. But I will say, when I hear the song, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a banger. Let's go.
Okay, well, what's the song?
It's got to be Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my gosh.
That person, they start out, they're like, oh yeah, this is an easy song.
Got it.
And then you get to the chorus, and it just cranks up a notch. And
it's all downhill from there. And I get very embarrassed. I might have to leave, go get another drink at that time. So, pretend like you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I don't know these people, especially if they're in our group of friends. Gosh. I will disown you if you sing that song at a karaoke bar with me.
I would like to say I have never sang that song in karaoke, number one. And number two, the first concert that I took my sister to, so Holly's first concert was Kelly Clarkson. I was pretty proud of taking her to that.
But it is a secondhand embarrassment song because I actually do like this song, but, when people sing it.
And it gets a little rough.
So
you're like, oh.
Both ways. Yeah, guilty pleasure song.
I hear you. I like the way you took that question. All okay, right. What's the next level again?
Do you want me to do a second level is the had a few too many drinks embarrassment. So
okay, you take this one first since I went first last time.
All right. So growing up, early 2000s, high school, I think I was looking back and I was thinking, what are some of those bands that maybe you just kind of, man, I wish I could be that person.
Yeah.
I wish I could be a part of that group.
Yes. Who you got?
So early 2000s.
You got NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I'm not sure which one.
Right down. You are so hot. So it's got to be I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a big Bye 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 fan.
I just motioned it. I know y'all can't see it.
Just motioned it. But, man, I Want It That Way. Oh, man. I can't believe it was middle school, high school. That song came on at a high school or middle school dance, and oh man, people just love that song.
People went wild.
I still love that song. That's why it's my had a few too many drinks, and I would tell somebody that I like that song kind of a situation.
I like that song, so you should play it more on our date nights. I would enjoy that.
Gotcha. It's a slow builder as well too. It kind of slowly builds into the chorus, which is great. I'm a big...
Yes, and Eric actually, this is so funny to me, especially if we've been out, we've been having a good time for a date night and we're on the way home and, maybe he allows me to take control of the Spotify playlist for a little bit. It's very questionable whether that ever even happens, but he'll let me pick songs and he will literally grade me on the songs that I choose.
This makes me sound like a really just... tyrannical husband.
Well, it's all done in fun.
If I give you permission to choose the song.
What I'm saying is he's very picky about his music, which I like. I benefit from it. You play great music for me.
These playlists have been curated for specific purposes, the order in which they're played.
Yes, many.
There's been a lot of thought that goes into this. But anyways.
No doubt. But Eric hardly ever gives above a B+ for a song that I choose.
Part of your... It's gonna show my neuroticism.
Yes.
But part of the thing is, you'll sing a song and you have a great voice, but a lot of songs, they build up, you know, they get to that 10 out of 10. Well, the nuance is you start at a 9 out of 10. There's no room to build.
I do. I go all in.
Heather, just bring it back a little bit. And usually the issue is after, once again, a few too many drinks. So anyways, all right. So back to you. So this is your guilty pleasure song, level of embarrassment, had a few too many drinks embarrassment.
Okay, so my answer, oh gosh, this is pretty embarrassing. It is.
This is when you've had a few too many drinks.
Yeah. I love, and I mean, I don't know why, but I like get really into kind of like jamming and like some hard stuff.
So this is basically after you've had like a shot of Jaeger. This is that kind of embarrassment.
Well, right. I hate Jaeger.
I know, but I'm just saying that's what it could be.
Yes, I hear you.
Compared to.
It's old Eminem with Lose Yourself.
Man, you are really sticking with these rap songs.
It only goes down from here, babe. It's not good.
Wow. Do you have another Super Bowl halftime song on your list, Heather?
I might.
In the club, Lose Yourself.
Wait for it. You never know. But I mean, this is like our classic college songs, and I play them. I mean, we listen to them a fair amount, I would say, with our friend group or like, if, whatever.
True.
So, and of course, Megan, that was just on this episode, like she's got those Burn Bootcamp playlists and she's got them dialed in on these. So I hear them at the gym all the time. They're top of mind for me.
That's true. My gym the gym I go to, it's a lot of deep dive hardcore rap. Yeah, I don't even know the names of the songs, but.
But they're more current songs, not older.
Yeah, it'll get you there in your workout.
Well, there you go. See?
For sure. All right. So final level, it's that deep down, don't want to tell anyone, that deepest, darkest secret that you maybe only comes out once or twice in your life. And, maybe only tell to a few select friends, but you're going to tell it to the whole podcast audience right now. What you got? I'm
going to be really honest with you, Eric. I don't embarrass easily. Do you feel like I do?
No, that's true. You do not.
So I feel like I'm like, I kind of hate that you guys know that I like these songs, but at the same time,
I should just ask you, what's the dirtiest song you like?
Pretty much. Because I'm like, these ladies dance to the same thing in college. They know what's coming. And I actually have a 3-way tie.
Oh my, you got to pick one.
Okay,
all right,
fine.
I'll even give you an honorable mention. Do you want to give an honorable mention right now?
Okay, first of all, I've got Get Low. That's on there.
Man, this really is just all early 2000s rap, I feel like.
It is. And Salt Shaker.
All right,
Shake it like a salt shaker.
Those are your honorable mentions.
Yes.
2 worthy honorable mentions I'll give you. But I don't know if those are like the deep down, just like embarrassment songs.
But babe, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't embarrass very easily. Maybe I'll hear your great embarrassing song and be like, oh, that makes me think of XYZ. What do you got?
Well, what is you said you had 3, you gave 2.
Okay. Ignition by R. Kelly.
That is pretty good.
It's pretty embarrassing, but I like
the unedited version.
Oh, well.
It's the remix to Ignition. It's hot and fresh out the kitchen.
Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. Don't worry, I'm dancing in the podcast chair.
Oh, man. Yeah. Can't go too much further into that song.
No, you cannot. Woo! Yikes.
Didn't think I was going to sing on this.
Yes! I'm so excited you joined me. Here we are. You karaoke'd.
Definitely feeling had a few too many drinks embarrassment right now.
Well, everybody's going to love it. So y'all leave us a review afterwards and request more of Eric singing. That'd be so funny.
Man, I don't know if I can top that, but...
Okay, bring it.
All right, so this is my deep down. I might only share this with my really good friends. I actually think maybe me and a friend, after a few too many drinks on a golf trip, maybe sang this song.
What is the song?
So, early 90s country music, female artist.
Shania?
Oh, man, you know me so well.
Yes.
Which Shania song?
Whose bed have your boots been under?
Oh, man, that was a close second.
Dang.
But it's got to be...
Man, I feel like a woman.
I feel like a woman.
Yes!
Wow. So, man, that song just hits. I remember being up at the lake, my grandmother's lake, with all the cousins, and people played that CD just on repeat. And I mean, and also to this day, like you put that on, and all your girlfriends, you, Megan, everybody, it is just like throwing down. But I'm afraid to admit it to everybody. I love that song.
Well, I will say, Eric and I, actually, now that you say that, it's coming back to me. We had a conversation similar to this probably, I guess, 2.5 years ago now. Because one year I did dress up as Shania Twain with that hat and the like fishnet half
I did
thing.
like that costume. That was nice.
Well, there you go. Maybe I'll have to repeat another Shania costume this Halloween.
And I did have one honorable mention as well too, and it's kind of along the same vein as your list, I would say.
Okay.
But it's got to be honorable mention for D4L Laffy Taffy. Now, I know that's kind of a deep dive, but if you know, you know. It's
Yes.
Shake that Laffy Taffy. Oh, that Laffy Taffy. Hey.
So, quick memory about that song. Eric and I both went to Stanford University. That's how we met. It's a small Christian college here in Birmingham, and we both were connections leaders, which I guess for everybody,
freshman orientation.
Yes, freshman orientation leaders. And so, one of my most prominent memories of our dating life was we went down to the Alabama Theater in downtown Birmingham, which is one of those like old, beautiful theaters. And we were having an event down there to watch movies and do popcorn with the new freshmen, show them downtown Birmingham, all these things. And pretty much everyone is there, and we're parked and we're standing outside in line, like the connections leaders, our orientation leaders, 3/4 of the freshmen that are there for this next year. And all of a sudden, as we're standing there in line, probably how many people? 100? More?
Yeah, probably around that.
Around 100 people. I hear this bumping coming down from someone's car, and I'm like, who is bumping? Like, looking all around. Next thing I know, here comes Eric Brown's old Land Cruiser. Every window, the sunroof open, freshmen hanging out of every window screaming at the top of their lungs in downtown Birmingham. Shake that Laffy Taffy. It was awesome.
It was a great moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
so great. I was like, that's my boyfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely one of my more proud moments. But, anyways, yeah, so that's it's a guilty pleasure song of mine as well, too. So
Yeah. For sure. I do feel like we have, because of your question, and actually Megan and I talked about this a little bit earlier too, with alcohol and like thinking about that in your health goals. Eric, you probably don't think about this as much at all, but we were talking about how, when you're looking towards a healthier lifestyle, how maybe you want to minimize alcohol and what that looks like for you and me. Do you mind kind of sharing with everybody like what you've done as far as cutting back alcohol? Because I feel like for a guy, it looks different for a girl when we're like getting ready to go to the beach or do a big trip or something like that. Or you just want to be healthier in general.
Yeah, I think for me, and I talk with some of my other guy friends about this, sometimes when you get home from work, it's really easy just to go to the fridge, pop open a beer, and, not think twice about that. And sometimes you can get into like some poor routines when it comes to that. But for me, one thing that I've done, and I've done some basically fasts where I'll cut out alcohol completely, and it really is amazing your body transformation when you cut out alcohol. I don't want to do that all the time. I do enjoy a drink every once in a while.
All about that balance.
All about that balance. So what I typically do now is I will just have a few drinks on the weekend, but during the week I will not drink, and that helps for my recovery as far as getting up early to work out in the morning. Mm-hmm. And
you sleep better?
Sleep better. So that's what works for me. It's finding that balance. But sometimes if you go on a trip or a vacation, we'll have a few more drinks, and
yeah. I think that's good. And I think it's nice for women to hear that from a male perspective too, that it's not just women that think about the health ramifications of, having a drink here or there. And I will say one thing that Eric and I have found that actually has really helped us when we're trying to be super healthy is we will buy like what's your favorite flavored water that we get? Because you just sometimes want to come home, like you said, and just like pop that carbonation to kind of like end the day. Which one do you like the best?
Yeah, I like the Waterloo seltzers, so those are probably my favorite. The watermelon flavor is nice.
The watermelon sparkling water, they're 0 calories and really, really good. So that's a good tip for you guys to take. But Eric, always a good time. Thank you so much for joining me and chatting about secondhand embarrassment.
I'm an expert on it, so.
I love it. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you soon. Hey, if you're loving the show, click that follow button on your podcast app. This will ensure you won't miss a single episode. I'll see you next time. Oh, hey there. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to take a screenshot of your podcast app on your phone, post it to your Instagram stories, and tag me @HealthyWithHeatherBrown to let me know your favorite takeaway from this episode.